Welcome back to live theater. Gosh, it's been a long time. I'm Kevin Purcell, and I'm directing a terrific Irish play called The Weir by Conor McPherson. And it's not very often you get one of the locals from Ireland, because this play is set in Sligo, about 2 hours west of Dublin. And we have one of the locals from that area here with us right now to talk to us and tell us a little bit about Sligo and the area and Brendan's pub and what his life is like there. Let me introduce to you Jack Mullen. Hi, Jack.
Hello there.
How are you tonight?
Wonderful. It's nice to be here. Never been over before.
Well, tell us a bit about the area, the Sligo area.
It's a beautiful place, you know. It's almost due west of Dublin, all the way across the island. Biggest town nearby, really, I guess, would be Carrick.
Yeah.
Some of the people that I grew up with and stuff, they moved up there. We're still out in Sligo, which is, if you look in the dictionary, isolation, Sligo's right in there because you're by yourself.
A lot of peace and quiet.
You can hear the sea. We're close, mountains. But communities like this, you got your church, you got your pub, and your work. That's it. And so, you stay out of church as much as you can. You got to get in the pub.
Yeah. Well, first tell me about your work, Jack.
I got the garage out on the outskirts of town, little road there that sadly it got bypassed by the main road up into Carrick. So,
Progress.
I do cars and stuff, but usually it's lost tourists or someone from the area that, knows the place real well, and it gets a little lonely at times.
Yeah.
But I get in here now and then to Brendan's pub we're talking about.
Oh, yeah, Brendan's pub, yeah. Tell me a bit more about that.
Well, I was good friends with his father, I mean, it's all a bit of community around there. We're all sort of brothers in a way or something. And so me and my buddy Jim, Finbar Mac, who's moved now up to Carrick, we grew up in that bar, And it's not always drinking. Not that there's not plenty of that. But it's a community thing. And, it really makes the whole place sort of go around. You find out what's going on with the people and this and that.
Yeah. So tell me, the play is called The Weir, W-E-I-R. Can you tell us a bit about what The Weir is?
Yeah, it's like a way to control the water in the area. And funny, I was reading about in the States, way back there maybe, something called TVA. It'd be like that,
Tennessee Valley Authority, I think we call it.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, they're giving out the utilities, they're bringing in the electricity, and it's funny because, up to 10 years ago, some of those places, we didn't have electricity. You've never seen a night like in the winter in Ireland without electricity.
Without electricity,
anyway.
Yeah. So the Weir helps to generate power then?
For the area. It's kind of bring a little bit of life and, business entrepreneurship and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of little civilization because, honestly, if you go from Dublin to where I'm living, you're going to think you're going back to maybe 1500s or something.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So the Weir, as a title of this, is maybe a metaphor for how power gets generated or how things change with the passage of time.
You could say that. I think you could also say that, what we're really dealing with, what we're actually dealing with, is the river of humanity, and it comes down into individual pieces and people. And so that's what it is, Okay. I mean, sometimes they're exaggerated stories, sometimes it's stories from the heart, Sometimes it's stories with a religious idea about them, this and that.
So there are stories that get told in Brendan's pub on a regular basis?
Well, let me ask you, if I'm putting all of you into a pub at 10:30 at night and the wind is blowing and it's howling and you're 40 miles away from the nearest dance barn or other people, after a pint or two and maybe a small one, you're going to tell everything you know.
Can you give us an example, Jack, of the kind of story we might hear at Brendan's pub?
Well, yeah, I've got one. So, all right, there was this gal named Maura Nayland. And when she died, I think she was nearly 90 years old. And she'd come into this pub that we were talking about. She'd come in there every evening, and she'd sit there by the fire, and she'd sip her whiskey. And she swore that this happened. And she lived in the same house for 90 years till she died. She had older brothers and sisters when she's little. And she had a mother named Bridie who was, she's a well-known woman in the area. And she's a bit of character. And she was always doing this with Mara and the kids, telling them, there's someone at the door, all right? There's always someone that was coming up the path. There's someone at the back door. It was strange, and they got used to her. Thought she had a liking for practical jokes. Anyway, to sum it up, her and Mara are sitting there one night in the house at the fire, very quiet, and Bridie, the mother, was looking at Mara, A little bit of wet in her eyes, Mara said. Very quiet, and suddenly there's a knock at the door. There's someone at the front door. And her mother didn't move, and Mara said, will I get the door, Mammy? Because she was only young. And her mother said, no, it's only someone playing a joke, they'll go away. And Mara said, they sat there until the knocking stopped. And it's almost midnight before it ended. Oh, so the others, before they come back, here they are again, right? And she's looking out there, and her mother wouldn't move. And she started to say something to her mom, and what do you think? Here comes another knocking. Only less time, it's at the window. It's at the window. And again, her mother wouldn't say anything. Scared to death. Said, don't go there. Don't. Leave it alone. They'll go away. And Mara said, she couldn't see anything out in the night. And her mother wouldn't let her go over, And so again, they just sat there till almost dawn, frozen in fear. Whew. And finally it stopped. And Mara told us later at the bar, she said, her mother never told the others about any of this, right? And she said, one time when it was only her and her mother there, a priest come, Father Donald, and he blessed the doors and he blessed the windows. There was no more knocking then. And that's just one of the stories. That's only before like 8:30. So if you get in there a little bit later, that's gone and there'll be another.
Wow. So this photograph that's here between us, Jack, am I right that you, as a young lad, are in that photo?
I am in that. And I hate to say it, 7 years old, sitting down here.
Yeah.
I was in a fight almost every day because of the size of me head. Oh, this is awful. And there's Brendan in here. He's a little younger than me.
Yeah, Brendan's there.
Yeah, Finbar's way down here.
Oh, yeah.
We've tried to get him out of the picture, but he snuck back in or something, But that's the community for around here. You'd see that picture in every one of these little houses these people from. They value it, and it's one of the things make the place worthwhile,
Now, you have one of your friends, I think you had said to me, Jim, I believe it is. You and Jim have a sort of a social activity together that you engage in having to do with the ponies. Is that right?
We do a little bit of gambling, I guess you'd call it. We do have to go up to Carrick to do this, and so it's kind of nice because you get out a bit. I'd never move up there, but and he's got away with it. I'm not that serious about it. I go maybe once a week, twice. I don't know, maybe every other day maybe I'm up there. I don't know. Okay. But I'm pretty good at it, and people ask all the time. I says, "Hey, how do you do? How do you do so well?" And I tell them I don't have a system. Well, I do. I do have a system.
You do have a system.
Well, the thing is, I figured it up, and I do lose a few bets now and then. So I'll take a couple of bets from my friend Jim. He's like a savant. He uses a Ouija board and everything. I don't know. So he does pretty well.
To pick the horses, he uses a Ouija board.
Oh, he does great. Me, on the other hand, not so hot.
Not so hot.
So at the end of the day, I'll do that a couple of times. But I always remind people, on my own, I have 1 or 2 wins sometime. Way back there. Can't remember now.
So we would get a chance in the play, The Weir, to meet people, get to know folks like you and Jim and Finbar and at Brendan's pub, and Brendan would be there as well. And
it is like, talking about the stream earlier in The Weir, it is like all humanity around there, all the people are going to move through there. If somebody comes to the area to buy property, whatever, they're looking around, they'll be in there in the afternoon to ask, like, well, what's the neighbors like, or what's like? after church, and when they're shearing sheep. It's a big place, and you wouldn't think about all this. So it's like a beehive of sorts, and it keeps all of us together. You look in there, a lot of different people. Some of them I don't care for all the time, but it's a bit of community, a bit of company spread all around the place there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, well, Jack, it's been great getting to know a bit about you and about the Sligo area and Brendan's. Thanks for spending some time with us, and I look forward to learning more about the Weir and about Sligo and this part of Ireland.